We basically sold half as much stock as I did the entire previous year in the first 2 months of the year. So that's a good one.
That was like, when you said that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
You've basically done 50% of sales in 2 months.
Yeah.
That you did the whole previous year. What does that now look like to the end of the year? I suppose the first question was about where you were before we actually got together. What did your life, what did business look like before we worked together? Walk me through like a typical day in your mind as well as a physical day, because I think the mental shift is key.
Big mental shift. I mean, to begin with, I was firefighting every day. I wasn't sure what journey to go down. I had fingers in many pies and none of them were really coming to me. I knew sort of where I wanted to go, but I wasn't clear on it. And I didn't really have a goal as to what I wanted to be, in a year, 2 years. So you managed to help me clarify the goal and quiet my mind down and see the bits which I didn't enjoy and then cut the fat. One of the first messages, it was like, I just feel like I'm firefighting all the time. I'm not actually growing. I'm just a glorified self-employed person rather than a business owner. And the course has just like completely changed the way to look at that.
Because you've shifted how you see yourself, right?
Yeah. Shift how to see yourself, how to see the business, completely. And then towards the end of the course where we've more focused on growing a business rather than looking into yourself, it all just brought it together.
When you say you were firefighting all the time, what was your biggest frustration back then? And how long had that been going on? What was the biggest problem that you'd had?
It was time, mainly freedom, which is a big one for me. The time spent doing stuff which could be processed quickly with a proper system, with knowing where I wanted to be and what I was actually aiming for. It's the time sorting the quotes. And I was feeling very dissonant with the business to begin with because I felt like I'd just created a cage for myself.
Yeah, and that's not a good place to be.
No, because then the energy is just like, I can't really be bothered. And then I have a couple of weeks of pushing it and then I'll go, I just can't be bothered again. And so, the mindset, the change is prevalent, 100%.
We didn't know each other before. Some of the people I'm working with were in my network already.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other before. And I think you came through me through Instagram, the reels that I was putting out. How do you make that decision? It's like, right, I'm doing it.
It was really weird actually, because a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, because you were coming up on my YouTube shorts and my reels. I kept seeing your clips and I kept seeing you like a small, weren't massive or anything. So just starting out and whatever. So I can see the effort that was being put in, which then drew me to it. And genuinely, maybe a week before you posted about looking for another person for the mastermind or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I literally almost opened up Instagram and literally just sent you a DM saying, I'm feeling lost. Would you help me? I'd sort of done a bit of Googling and seen what you were about as well. And I found SiteLink and that sort of thing. It was just like divine timing. And it was just like when you posted it, I was like, I've got to reply now, haven't I?
So once you committed, what were your first steps and how did it feel to finally go for it? Once you'd been like, right, I've sent that money over, I paid, I'm in it. What was your feeling then?
Hesitation a little bit. I trusted it, but at the same time, there's always that little like, what if this is just a waste of time? There's always got to be something like that. So there's a little bit of hesitation going on, I'm not sure. But then within the first few weeks, it's like reading a book, isn't it? Like you do the first chapter and you get into it and then the following is better and better. Yeah, no, I'm pleased that I made the commitment. There's no doubt about it. I was hesitant, but excited to potentially get out of the way I was at the moment or at that point in time.
Yeah. And we've gone pretty deep. I think that's one thing that I like to tell people is that this isn't for everybody and we've got to be prepared to be able to do the work and not just the work on the outside, the work on the inside. If you don't mind sharing, what was the hardest moment or the biggest obstacle you've hit along the past 12 weeks or however long it's been, 13 weeks now, I think maybe 14 weeks. What was that biggest obstacle?
I suppose it's just opening up. At the end of the day, pretty independent, pretty solo on a lot of things. I've got like not even 5 friends that I talk to on a regular basis. So like, I don't really share I'm very much in myself. So being able to open up and talk deeply about things and hearing the other two's stories and that was a big comforting factor in a way for being able to open up and feel confident in opening up, as everyone has their story and you just got to remember that. And it's like hearing your story and everything like that, trust building and refreshing to have a proper connection with people rather than the face level, which most people have.
What was your first biggest win, if you can cast your mind back?
Because of the Land Rover hack, I ended up with loads of seats, hold up with a load of cash, and then just nobody was buying because nobody could get a car. And then I begun the course, raised my own energy, started to sort of look a bit more deeply, change my worldview a little bit, and it just attracted the customers straight away. Well, it was like living proof, wasn't it?
And you just started selling these seats that had been there for ages.
Yeah, for like a month, if not two. And yeah, it was very, very obvious. And then likewise, it then happened again, was it a month ago, when we basically sold half as much stock as I did the entire previous year in the first 2 months of the year. So that's a good one.
That was like, when you said that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
You've basically done 50% of sales in 2 months.
Yeah.
That you did the whole previous year. What does that now look like to the end of the year? And what does that now look like, the trajectory for the year after? What surprised you most about the transformation?
I suppose the surprise, I wasn't really sure 100% what I'll sign up for.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of knew it was mentorship, but other than that, I was not really sure. So then being able to, the first surprise was actually just going deep, because I didn't know that was going to be happening, sort of thing. Likewise, it's just then coming through and seeing the results quickly, seeing the work be put in, then leading to the results within 3 months, which is quick in terms of
a short space of time. Yeah, if you think about it. Yeah. I want to go back to the first thing you ever said, or you said on this call, was about how you've changed as a person. Before, you used to see yourself as a person doing business that used to be like a little bit like, motivated and then off. Do you want to just talk about that bit? Like, how has this changed you as a person? Not just as your results, like the feeling, the attitude, the outlook.
I was doing everything and achieving nothing at the same time. I was sort of treading water, for lack of a better term, firefighting, you know, spending stupid amounts of time on little things when they don't need to be. And then at the same time, throughout the past sort of year before that, mentally pretty good. Then I have a little bit of a quiet, and then, you know, it's been a little bit of a up and down. And then with that comes focus and all of that, or lack of focus. So then coming onto the course, it's just having an accountability partner as well. Because at the time, I was by myself. So if I didn't show up, I didn't earn any money, but at the same time, it wasn't affecting anyone else. Whereas coming onto the course, it's the accountability partner. It's someone you go, have you done it? Which is your personal trainer, isn't it? And so having you there to just give us some ideas and show us things which you wouldn't normally see from a bigger business standpoint is very motivating for me, and that worked pretty well. And then you start to do this sort of looking at yourself and looking at the past and forgiving people for things you are held up on. And I'd done a bit of that beforehand, but then it's always good to revisit it and teach yourself how to do it. And then throughout the course, just getting pinpointed on actually where I was headed was a massive thing. Because beforehand, I was sort of just like, yeah, I'll sell this, but with no real goal. So again, you're just shooting in the dark. You're sort of just trying to make money for the sake of making money and not actually going far. So since starting, I've also taken on a person full time, and that has proven really beneficial as well. So that's then led to more of a mindset shift to become more of a leader and a business grower than an employee in my own job, if that makes any sense. And so subsequently, because I've then taken on a bit more of a leader stance and having to learn about the leader stance, it then makes you go, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that was in my head. So I need to then make a process for that. And so having you there to then guide the processes and say what could and different programs, and having the other two there to also discuss with has been beneficial. So that's completely changed the mindset from the start of the course, where I didn't know what to do, where I was going, to then having been able to sit down and get a bit clearer on the goals and dial in a little bit more. And then subsequently from that, everything changed. So like for a while, I was just getting my brain fried on, you know, reels, and so easy to do. And then you sort of go, oh, hang on a sec, why am I wasting so much time in the evenings just watching these bullshit videos doing nothing?
Yeah.
And so that's screen time's gone down and productivity has gone up. So it all goes hand in hand, and it's all
Hand in hand.
Starts from that one little seed, which was start the course basically.
Powerful, man. And you've shifted how you see yourself.
I look a bit homeless at the moment, but
it doesn't matter how other people see you. All that matters is how you see yourself, right? Like, don't worry about that. I'm so happy for you, really. And if there is anyone that was in your position that was a bit hesitant, that wasn't aware of what it's about, what would you say to them?
I mean, as with everything, you've got to approach it with an open mind, haven't you? If you're able to go in with an open mind and give up any beliefs about, or any, I suppose, beliefs about who you are, or, you know, if you're able to actually start to let go and you're open to letting go of things which have been stuck with you and also open to new ideas, then what you got to lose at the end of the day? You know, it's not crazy amount of money. So you're going to survive if you don't get anything out of it. And if you get one lesson out of it, then it's money well spent, isn't it? Go with an open mind and just see what happens, I think would be my main thing, and take the risk.